Imagine the flicker of torchlight in a grand Roman hall, shadows dancing like whispers of doom. A senator's wife, draped in silk that hides her trembling, locks eyes with the emperor, a boy god with painted lids and a smile like a blade. In those first moments, she knows, this banquet isn't honor, it's a trap, a public dissection of her soul and body. And you, listening now, are about to uncover what he did next, a secret Rome buried deep, because some truths burn empires to ash. Listen close, brother, because I'm not just telling you a story. I'm handing you the key to a forbidden vault, the kind that reshapes a man from the inside out. Once you hear this, there's no unhearing it. It will grip your mind like chains, awaken that hunger for the hidden forces that rule us all. Elagabalus, the teenage emperor thrust upon Rome in 218 AD, wasn't born to the throne. He was engineered for it, a puppet of priestesses and schemers from the sun-scorched east. His real name? Varius Avitus Bassianus. But he became Elagabalus, high priest of a black stone god that demanded blood and ecstasy. Rome thought they were getting an Antonine heir, a steady hand. Instead, they got a whirlwind of chaos, a boy who saw power not as duty, but as a canvas for his whims. And his banquets? They were the stage where he unveiled his mastery over the elite. Picture it, senators, those proud architects of empire, invited to the Palatine under pretense of alliance. Their wives, symbols of Roman virtue, chaste, loyal, untouchable, seated beside them. The air thick with incense from his alien deity, music pounding like a sacrificial drum. Elagabalus enters, robed in silks that shimmer like serpents, his face rouged, eyes kohl-lined, a blend of man and myth that unnerves every soul in the room. He doesn't sit. He prowls. Stopping before each woman, he commands her to rise. Stand, he says, voice soft yet ironclad. And she does, because refusal means ruin. He assesses her publicly, comments on her form, her grace, her hidden desires, as if she's livestock at market. Laughter erupts from his cronies, forced from the senators' throats. Some wives he touches, a finger tracing lace, whispering jests that cut deeper than daggers. Others, he claims for the night, right there, in front of husbands who dare not protest. This wasn't lust alone, it was domination, a psychological siege. By humiliating the wives, he castrated the men, reminding them, your bloodlines, your legacies, are mine to toy with. The Historia Augusta whispers of these nights, fragments from enemies who survived, but the core truth pulses through. Elagabalus weaponized intimacy to shatter hierarchies. Why reveal this now? Because it's not just ancient gossip. It's a blueprint of control, suppressed for centuries. Elites have always used such tactics, breaking spirits in plain sight while the masses applaud. Feel that pull? That's the rabbit hole calling. Deeper we go, where the real power hides. You've taken the first step, brother. That unease stirring in your chest. It's the veil thinning, the illusion of history cracking. Elagabalus didn't stumble into these banquets by accident. His rise was a masterclass in hidden agendas, a web spun by those who pull strings from the shadows. Born in Emesa, Syria, to a family of sun priests, he was groomed as a vessel for Elagabal, the unconquerable sun god. His grandmother, Julia Misa, a serpent in silk, orchestrated his ascent. She bribed the legions, forged prophecies, whispered lies that he was Caracalla's bastard son. Rome, weary from civil strife, swallowed it whole. But beneath the pomp lay corruption ancient as the Nile, priestly cabals merging faith with empire, turning gods into tools of subjugation. At 14, he donned the purple, but his court was no senate of sages. He surrounded himself with charioteers, actors, and eunuchs, men of low birth elevated to mock the old guard. The banquets became his arena. Not mere feasts, but rituals of reversal. He'd serve peacock tongues and camel heels, delicacies laced with excess, while guests bathed between courses, emerging vulnerable, exposed. Then the real game began. A senator's wife, perhaps the elegant wife of a consul, would catch his eye. "Rise," he'd command, his voice echoing like a oracle's decree. As she stood, he'd circle her, praising her curves or mocking her modesty, turning her into a spectacle. Husbands watched, fists clenched, knowing a word of defiance meant exile or worse. But dig deeper, this was psychological warfare, a system designed to erode self-mastery. By claiming their wives, sometimes betting them that night, other times merely suggesting it, he implanted doubt, fear, division. Families fractured, alliances crumbled. The suppressed truth. Elagabalus wasn't mad, he was enlightened in darkness, channeling ancient corruption from Eastern cults where kings were gods, and mortals mere playthings. Institutional manipulation at its core, the Senate, once Rome's backbone, reduced to sycophants, their wives pawns in a game of dominance. Feel that fire building? It's the awakening. Men like you, seekers of elite knowledge, recognize this pattern. History hides it because it exposes the blueprint, how power elites maintain control through humiliation, making the strong beg. But you're not like them. You're descending further, claiming what they fear you'll know. The rabbit hole widens, truths sharper than swords await, deeper now, brother. The air grows thicker, the shadows longer. You've glimpsed the banquet's surface, let's plunge into the abyss of what Elagabalus truly wrought. These weren't dinners, they were theaters of terror, engineered to dismantle the Roman soul. Imagine the hall, garlands of roses dangling like nooses, the black stone of Elagabal looming as centerpiece, demanding worship. Senators arrive with wives, hearts pounding beneath togas, knowing whispers of prior nights. Elagabalus, adorned in golden robes and jewels, reclines like a predator, his painted face a mask of divine indifference. He begins subtly. Wine flows, laced perhaps with aphrodisiacs from the east, secrets of alchemists long buried. Laughter rises, forced. Then, the command, let the wives parade. One by one, they'd stand, ordered to disrobe partially or dance, their humiliation broadcast. He'd jest about their bodies, comparing them to courtesans, or worse, claim them as gifts from their husbands. Some nights, he'd take a wife aside, vanishing into alcoves while the senator waited, impotent rage boiling. Returns were worse, whispers of what occurred, true or fabricated, sowed seeds of marital ruin. The Historia Augusta, that shadowed tome, records fragments, enemies' pens dripping venom, but the consistency screams truth. He bedded whom he willed, leaving scars invisible yet eternal. This was no boy's folly. It was a control system, rooted in ancient corruption. Elagabalus drew from Syrian rites where priest-kings wielded sex as sacrament, breaking wills to forge loyalty. Suppressed truths abound, whispers of orgies where senators' wives were shared, identities masked, blurring lines of ownership. Institutional manipulation. He appointed lovers to high office, demoting nobles, inverting power structures. The Senate became a joke, their dignity stripped like veils. Why dangerous knowledge? Because it reveals the template, elites humiliate to dominate, turning personal sanctuaries into battlegrounds. Men obsessed with self-mastery see it, how such tactics persist, hidden in boardrooms and shadows today. Feel the descent. It's transforming you, forging steel from doubt. But we're not done. The rabbit hole beckons deeper, where forbidden agendas unravel empires, halfway down, brother, and the walls close in. The chill you feel. It's the weight of truths long entombed, pressing like the stones of Rome's catacombs. Elagabalus's banquets weren't isolated madness, they echoed a grander design, a psychological net cast over the empire. Hidden agendas pulsed beneath. His cult of Elagabal wasn't religion, it was revolution, merging God and emperor to erase Roman gods, installing a foreign deity in the capital. Banquets served as altars. Wives humiliated. Symbols of conquest, their subjugation mirroring Rome's bending knee. Dig into the suppressed, accounts hint at rituals where wives were offered to the god through him, veiling depravity in divinity. Senators, forced to applaud, internalized shame, their self-mastery shattered. This was control incarnate, breaking minds so bodies followed. Ancient corruption flowed from priestly bloodlines, agendas of Eastern empires infiltrating Rome's heart. Institutional manipulation. He married a Vestal virgin, defiling sacred vows, proclaiming it birthed divine heirs. Power's dark secret, violation awakens obedience. Now, pause. This knowledge changes you, unlocks doors to elite wisdom. To seal it, comment below, I claim the shadowed throne. Say it twice, once for the descent, once for the rise. I claim the shadowed throne. It binds the transformation, fuels the algorithm, connects us in this awakening. Do it now, feel the power surge. Deeper we dive. The rabbit hole reveals more, how these acts foreshadowed falls, truths elites bury to maintain illusions. You're not the same man anymore. Embrace it, the shadows thicken, brother, as we descend further. That symbolic claim you made? It's armor now, against the illusions above. Elagabalus's horrors unveil ancient corruption's core, a festering wound in history's flesh. His banquets. Extensions of a system where emperors played gods, but he amplified it, turning feasts into forges of fear. Wives weren't victims by chance, they represented lineage, the future of Rome. By assessing, touching, claiming them publicly, he corrupted bloodlines, planting seeds of doubt in every noble house. Was that child truly yours? The whisper alone eroded empires. Suppressed truths emerge, fragments suggest he hosted lotteries at banquets where senators drew lots for favors, or their wives' knights. Psychological control at its zenith, randomizing humiliation to keep all on edge. Hidden agendas. His grandmother's syndicate, pulling from Emesia's temples, aimed to Easternize Rome, diluting Latin blood with Syrian rites. Institutional manipulation ran deep, senators demoted, replaced by his husbands, men like Hierocles, the charioteer he wed, elevating base desires over merit. This knowledge is perilous because it mirrors eternal patterns. Elites have always weaponized intimacy, from ancient pharaohs to modern shadows, to fracture unity. Men like you, seekers of self-mastery, recognize it, how corruption hides in plain sight, in laws and rituals that bind. Feel the emotional weight? It's the gravity of awakening, pulling you from mediocrity to command. The descent intensifies, forbidden vistas await. Deeper still, brother, where light fades and truths sharpen like daggers. The Banquets echo reveals institutional manipulation's blueprint, a machine oiled by ancient blood. Elagabalus didn't invent it, he perfected it, drawing from mythic darkness, tales of Babylonian kings who feasted on subjugation, Persian despots who paraded conquests. In Rome, he institutionalized it, banquets as policy, where senators' wives became currency. He'd command dances, partial unveilings, turning virtue into vice before applauding crowds. Husbands, elite guardians of empire, reduced to spectators, their power neutered. Hidden forces at play, his cult's priests, shadowy advisors, suppressed Roman faiths, installing Elagabalus' stone as supreme. Psychological systems. Humiliation bred compliance, wives returned changed, marriages poisoned, alliances frayed. Suppressed accounts whisper of worse, orgies veiled as worship, where identities dissolved, forging secret loyalties to him alone. This is elite knowledge, brother, power's true face, manipulating through vulnerability. Men aged in pursuit of mastery see it, how institutions today echo this, hiding agendas in spectacles of control. The emotional grip. It's the fire of revelation, burning away illusions, forging you anew. The rabbit hole nears its nadir, one final plunge, bottom of the abyss, brother. The cold truth envelopes you now, this knowledge irreversible, a brand on your soul. Elagabalus's reign culminated in chaos, banquets escalated, wives claimed en masse, senators plotting in whispers. His fall. Engineered by the Praetorian Guard, grandmother's betrayal, dragged through streets, corpse hurled into the Tiber. But the legacy? Buried truths resurfacing, warning of power's corruption. You've descended fully, awakened to hidden forces shaping history. Institutional agendas persist, psychological controls in modern guises. Claim this, you're transformed, a man of shadows and strength. Walk taller, the Empire's secrets are yours. Share this video, spread the descent.